where they pull apart, oceans form in the gap. The friction of this continual movement means that plate boundaries become melting zones where minerals are concentrated and are able to rise towards the surface. But the flip side is that huge amounts of energy are concentrated along the plate boundaries. When one plate slides underneath another, volcanoes form. When two plates lock together and then suddenly break free, the jolt causes devastating earthquakes. So we now know that plate boundaries are so rich in resources for exactly the reasons they are so dangerous. Yet the strange thing is, this groundbreaking discovery has made little difference to where we live. If you look at the plate boundaries, it's clear that many cities are located close by. In fact, 10 of the 20 largest cities in the world are next to dangerous fault lines. So why are we still building next to these danger zones? In the rugged hills of Central California is part of the answer. And to see it, I'm heading into the skies. At least I hope I am.
This is the dinkiest helicopter I've ever been in. It'll be nice when it's finished.
I'm going to see perhaps the most famous geological feature on the planet, and this is the best way to find it.
Yeah, this is it. This looks fantastic. You can see this beautiful furrow cut right through these hills here. That's amazing.
This line of hills with a trench cut through the middle is the San Andreas Fault. This fault is a boundary between the North American plate to the east and the Pacific plate to the west. For 25 million years, they've been grinding past each other to create the largest earthquake fault in North America.
The San Andreas Fault starts up there in Northern California, then slices down through 700 miles through here, down to the border with Mexico. As it goes, it cuts through cities and towns and passes across a path of roads, bridges, aqueducts and fibre optic cables. If ever there was a fault line that cut through the very fabric of a modern society, then it's this one.
But a good reason why over 20 million people carry on living so close to this danger zone is that this plate boundary has made California rich. It began with the Californian gold rush. These nuggets of gold might have been found in streams, but the gold originally rose in hot mineral-rich fluids, forced up between the plates. In fact, almost everything that makes California wealthy is at least partly related to the San Andreas Fault. Take, for example, the scenery. It was the colliding plates that forced up mountains along the Californian coast. And this dramatic landscape attracts thousands of tourists every year, who spend an estimated $2 billion on sightseeing alone. Then there's the wine. That's partly down to the San Andreas too. California is mostly desert, but when moist air rolls in off the ocean and hits the mountains, it rises to form rain that irrigates this otherwise arid landscape. It's a microclimate that has made this one of the most productive farming regions in America. But the ultimate gift of the San Andreas is this.
Oil. Black gold. This is an oil seep, which is when oil leaks to the surface, just like a natural spring. Except this is black and gooey. Look at that. 150 years ago, when the first people were looking for oil, even the most witless prospector realised that places like this were a good place to drill.
And drill they did. Over the years, around 200,000 wells have been sunk here.
Most people probably think of Texas as America's oil state, but California was and still is one of the world's biggest oil producers, drawing more than 700,000 barrels of crude oil out the ground every day.
The oil formed millions of years ago deep inside the earth, but it was the San Andreas Fault which split the rock and brought it close enough to the surface to be exploited.
So it seems that the San Andreas Fault has brought California some serious economic benefits. Its shaping of the land has created the conditions for oil, for agriculture, for wine, and even for tourism. But how much is that really worth?
The money men have done the sums. They reckon this state earns around $100 billion every year because of the San Andreas Fault. California's geology is a license to print money.
Earthquake geologists like me know that California gets struck by a big seismic shake every 100 to 150 years, and those major quakes are hugely destructive. That doesn't seem to dampen the spirits of the number crunchers that are in these skyscrapers. It's worked out that in a city like LA, a major earthquake will cause up to $250 billion worth of damage. Now that is a huge sum, but averaged out over a century, you're still in profit. You've got $100 billion a year coming in versus a one-off hit of $250 billion. That's a gain of 40 to 1. Any economist will tell you that's a pretty decent return.
10,000 years after our ancestors first settled along plate boundaries, the benefits of living along a fault line are as potent as ever.
The point is that in pure economic terms, we're still financially better off living along a fault line than not, even when it's one of the most active in the world. But the problem that I have with that equation is that life's not just about money.
Istanbul, the only city in the world to straddle Asia and Europe. This location at the crossroads of two continents has made it a trading hub for centuries. That's why I find it so exciting. It's a vibrant, bustling, cosmopolitan place. But Istanbul's location also brings with it great danger. Nearby lies the North Anatolian Fault, one of the most